Hello and welcome to the sort of intro video of the Intro to Creative Web Development course. This video is to mostly just say hi, introduce who I am, why you're listening to this random dude in the corner, and then talk about some of the goals of the course and then the logistics of the course, how the course is going to work. So I don't want to get too into this because it's honestly kind of boring, but I do want to just maybe talk for a second about who I am, um, and my background, and what brought me to this course, so that you know sort of who you're listening to. So without giving you my entire life story, I'll just say that I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's a little town over here, and went to school at a high school called Lampeter Strasburg, and then I went to a college called Millersville University. That's kind of down here somewhere. Yeah, right there. And so, yeah, went to college at Millersville, and then I graduated, and I worked for a company called MITRE. I graduated with a computer science degree. I originally was going to be a teacher, but I'll save that story for a different time. But I changed my major to computer science, graduated, and got a job as a software engineer at MITRE, or contractor for MITRE. Very DC thing to do. So yeah, did that for about 8 years or so. And during this time, I had originally wanted to be a teacher. That's why I went to Millersville, but graduated with a CS degree. So I was still kind of, I don't know, scratching the sort of education itch, if that makes sense. And I built a few different things, but the main one is this website called happycoding.io, where, just for fun, just in my spare time, in my free time, I post tutorials and examples and, things like that, where it's me kind of, doing the teaching thing on the side, just kind of for fun. So that was my life for a while. I was working for the FAA for MITRE, and kind of doing happy coding on the side. And at some point in like 2016 or so, someone from Google actually reached out to me. And honestly, at first I thought it was a scam, but they saw me on GitHub of all places, and sort of encouraged me to apply to Google. So I did, and so I started at Google, working for Google Maps actually, in like December of 2016, and I've been there ever since. I've worked at a couple different places within Google. So now I live out in California, blah blah blah, out here somewhere in the Bay Area, and I worked for Google Maps for 5 years, and now I sort of work for the education department of Google, or one of the education departments of Google anyway, working on a mix of sort of internal and external tools. I'm still a software engineer by day, do a lot of like web development, a lot of Java, but I'm working in kind of the education space. Anyway, so that's kind of my day job for the last, for my entire adult life. Um, and about, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so, my college, or my advisor from Millersville, reached out to me and asked me if I would like to teach. And I said yes, because that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I just didn't know exactly how to do it, so that's why I was doing kind of the happy coding stuff on the side. And so last semester, I taught a intro to web dev course, and that's up on happycoding.io. And it was fun and interesting, and I got a lot out of it as a teacher. And so now here I am teaching sort of version 2.0 of this class. So what I'm sharing on my screen right now is the last semester's class, version 1.0, and now if you're watching this video, you are in sort of version 2.0 of the class. I'm trying a couple different things. Okay, so that's kind of my life story. That's who I am and what got me here. And so now I'll go back to sort of the current version of this class, which I'm calling Intro to Creative Web Development. And that's because I'm going to, hopefully anyway, introduce a few new things to the course, which are going to lean more on sort of creativity and self expression and that kind of thing. So I'm playing with it a little bit. We'll see how it goes. But before I get into that, I wanna ask a question, and this question is to you whether you are like in the official course or if you are, if you just stumbled upon this video somehow. Why take a course? Why go through a course rather than going through a bunch of tutorials or a bunch of like YouTube videos? What is the value of taking an official course? And I'll, think about it for a minute, and then I'll give you my answer. So, my answer to that, and I've thought about this a lot because as the organizer of the course, I want to make sure that you're getting your money's worth, basically. And I think that the things that people take a course for, the goals that people come to a course with, are two things. One, I think you're looking for structure. So I think you're looking for someone to help you organize the different things that you could learn into sort of a schedule. So week one, week two, week three, week four, in what order should we learn things? And the second thing, and honestly, I think it might be the more important piece, the second thing is connection with other human beings. That could be connection with me as sort of the instructor or the teacher, and it could be a connection with other people that are learning the same things as you. I think that can be a really powerful thing to get out of a course. Um, so those are kind of my motivations for how the course works. Um, so with that in mind, the way it works is every week in the course. I think the course is about 16 weeks or so. It's a semester, but every week you'll learn a different topic, a different concept. Right now, I haven't worked very far ahead, so I really just have week one ready to go. But as the course goes on, this will fill up with week one, week two, week three, week four, week five, so that as you work through the course, each week will be a different concept. So that's getting at the sort of structure side of why you might take a course instead of going off on your own and watching a bunch of YouTube videos. So each week you'll be learning a different concept, and you'll do that by clicking into it and then working through whatever it is here. So for example, in week one you'll be learning about like the fundamentals of like what coding is, and then we'll get into calling functions in P5.js. I won't talk about that in too much detail like right now because that's what you'll learn as you work through the course. But the idea is every week you'll learn a new thing by clicking through and reading through the tutorial, and I'll probably post a video or something as well, and you can do that sort of on your own time, but in that weekly schedule. Um, so each week you'll be doing that, and then I've posted a couple questions just to kind of help you think about what you are learning. And for the folks who are officially in the course, I think we'll talk about these in class. And then the sort of meat and potatoes. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm a vegetarian. The veggies and potatoes. I don't know. Is every week after you learn whatever concept of the week that you're learning, you'll sort of apply that right away to a project. So, for example, in week one, you'll be creating a P5.js sketch and drawing something. And again, I won't get too much into details here because each week will be different. But the idea is that every week you'll learn something and then you'll create a project. And what I'm sort of excited about with these projects is that the idea is that then you'll share the projects. You'll share what you created every week with the class. If you're in the official class, then you'll share that in class. If you are, someone else who has found this later or found it online, post it on the forum, post it on social media, just share it somewhere. But so that's the logistics of the class. Every week you'll learn a new concept, and then you'll create a project, and then you'll share that project. That's sort of the high level schedule that you'll be following. So yeah, that's about as far as I want to go with the logistics of the class. The last thing I want to mention is a couple just really high level goals that I have for the class itself, and They are right here, but I'm going to kind of walk through them. The first thing is I want folks to come away with practical knowledge, and by that I mean when I was a student, I remember being really frustrated by courses that would be interesting enough, but at the end of the course, I wouldn't know what to do with the information that I was given. It was like, okay, that's interesting, but what do I do with it? So this course is focused on practical knowledge. I promise by the end of this course, you'll be able to make your own web pages, and it'll be kind of up to you what you do with that, but you'll definitely get the practical knowledge around building websites and web pages. The second thing is I want to demystify some of this. I think that computer science and coding is it can be really intimidating. It can be there can be a really large barrier to entry, and I don't think it has to be that way. So one of my goals here is to demystify some of these like scary sounding concepts. Um, Without getting too much into details, but just giving you enough information so that you can be like, oh, actually, I kind of get that now. Um, and then you can do more research on your own if you're particularly interested in any particular thing. So third, I want to focus on the fundamentals, and by that I mean in coding and in web development specifically, there are a million things we could do. There are frameworks out there that we could be using. There are a bunch of different topics we could be covering, and I am going to focus on what I am going to call the fundamentals, and that means the concepts that you will use no matter what you decide to do. So things like HTML tags, calling functions, some CSS stuff. Even if you later decide that you don't want to use vanilla JavaScript or whatever, and you want to use React, you'll still be able to lean on these fundamentals, and they'll help you further along in your journey as you discover other things. But in this class, I'm going to focus on the absolute fundamentals, the building blocks. Um, that being said, I also don't want to bog ourselves down too much in like memorizing syntax, because you might think that that's what coding is, memorizing what code does what and then using it. But actually, it's not. So the way I like to say it is I'm actually not going to teach you web development. I'm going to teach you how to learn web development. And that might sound a little goofy, but by that I mean I want to give you the sort of the fundamentals and the building blocks and the process of researching, using search engines, reading through documentation, trying things out, and you will get errors. Errors are normal. I promise. You won't believe me, but they are. And debugging those errors and iterating like that. That's what coding is. And so I want to sort of introduce that process rather than focus on memorizing any particular thing. And then last and not least, I really hope that folks get something that's like personally meaningful to them, or at least interesting. And by that one, I mean I am hoping to focus more on like creative expression, creativity, and giving you a chance to sort of build something that is yours, and not me telling you what to do, but rather me giving you a new tool and saying, go nuts. And, hopefully that'll be really fun, and we'll all kind of get to see what each other works on. Okay, so those are the goals for the course. So like as you work through the material, just kind of keep those in mind. And if you have other goals or stuff that you are hoping to get out of the course, please let me know. I'd love to work with you to make sure that you are getting something out of it as well. Okay, so I think that's enough rambling for me. I consider yourselves introduced to the course, and from here, the next thing that you should be doing is, maybe read through this page if you want, but I kind of already walked through it. But the next thing that you should be doing is going to week one, intro to P5, and working through the material here. So read through these tutorials. I'm going to add videos to them, so watch the videos, whichever way you prefer, really. And then think about the answers to these questions, and then most importantly, work through this project, because the only way to learn coding is by coding. And so read through these concepts and then apply those concepts by working through this project. And then get ready to share your project, whether that's going to be in class on Friday or on the forum or on Twitter or whatever it is, if you are sort of unofficially taking this class. All right, cool. So that's all I wanted to say in this intro video. I am looking forward to officially meeting y'all, and definitely looking forward to seeing what y'all create. So see you in class.